Is going on, beautiful people? Today we're going to be talking about why don't narcissists just let you go? Like when they're done with you, when they've moved on to someone else, when they're married, engaged, or have someone else, when they have a new supply, when they seem like they're happy on social media, when you've moved on, when everybody's moved on, why don't they just leave you the hell alone? Ooh, I got animated, didn't I? It's too early for that. If you're new here, my name is Lee Hammock. I'm a diagnosed narcissist, and welcome to another episode of the Narcissist Code. Let's get it. Boom, y'all. It does happen. Let's be real. Let's be realistic. There are a lot of narcissistic people out there who absolutely refuse to just leave you be, who refuse to just let you have your life, who refuse to let you have your cake. Not have. I was gonna say let you have your cake and eat it too, but I'm just talking. I'm just rambling right there. They just won't leave you alone. Yeah, if I'm hyper right now, it's because I'm a Lakers fan. I just get up this morning. The first thing I see is AD traded to the Mavericks for Luka. I'm like, what? So I'm just a little animated right now. So it bleeds through, doesn't it? I got crazy eyes right now. Lee, your eyes look narcissistic this morning because AD is going to the Mavericks. That's why. You know what I mean? But in these processes right here, when you're dealing with a manipulator, when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, it does get into these spaces. We have to understand this is how they operate. Narcissistic people think that you belong to them, not the other way around. Of course, ownership works one way, right? Ownership works one way. And narcissistic people tend to think that ownership works towards the way with them owning you. You belong to me. So regardless if we're together, regardless if we're going to be together, if the relationship is actually over, whatever the case is, you belong to me. So many people are in my comment sections or asking me during my lives or whatever in my support groups. They're like, well, Lee, since they have someone else, will they finally leave me alone? I'm like, why would they do that? And this is not me trying to be mean, y'all. I promise you I'm not. But if they think that you belong to them, they're not going to leave you alone, right? If they think that you belong to them, like they own you or whatever the case may be, they're not just going to let you go. They're not going to freely let you go about living your life any way that you want to live it. I know it sounds asinine. I know it sounds just kind of crazy to even say it out loud, but this is the mindset or the mentality of manipulative, abusive people. They think that you belong to them. Like, so even if they move on, it doesn't guarantee that they're going to leave you alone. Now, this part right here, I know how this is going to sound, but that's not the goal. And a lot of times they think it's okay because it's allowed to happen. Like let's say they cheated on you, right? They say they cheated on you. They left you for the person that they cheated on you with, right? They cheated on you. They're with their affair partner now. They come back into your life. They're still with their affair partner, and they're cheating on the affair partner with you. How does that happen? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you might have got manipulated. I know this, whatever. How are you now the side person? How are you the side dude or the side chick? How are you the side person now? You see what I'm saying? How do you go from husband or wife to side piece, which I've seen happen a lot of times. I've seen it happen a lot of times, right? I've seen it happen so many times that so many people get caught up in what's going on and how it got here. It's really literally a mental mindset type of thing, right? Really, you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? This is the mindset. This is the mentality. This is what you go through. And I tell this to people all the damn time. Like, if you're entertaining it, why would they stop? If they feel like it's allowed, why would they stop? Why would they stop? If they think it's allowed, if they say, hey, this is meant to happen, this is going on right here, this literally, they will just keep doing it. If they're like, well, if they were not okay with it, they would cut me off. They don't have to entertain it. And then guess what happens? You try to cut them off, they lose their minds. They be in bed crying about you, not crying about you. They be in bed angry at you for cutting them off. They be in bed laying next to their new supply or holding their new children and playing with their new family and upset that you cut them off after they left you. After they've left you. But I've also, And again, it's going to sound bad. I've also heard this second thing as well, right? I've also heard the second thing. Think about this right here. How you might leave the narcissist, right? You might leave the toxic relationship dynamic. You move on. You have someone else. And then you start cheating with your narcissistic ex. I've heard that as well. You might not be cheating with them, but you keep entertaining them. So they think it's okay, right? They think it's okay. So this is the mentality. This is what happens, right? So I tell people all the time, you have to think about this when you're finally done, when it's finally over. When you're finally done and it's finally over, you have to just kind of look at yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, where do I go from here? What do I do now? What do I need to do right now? And then as you're moving forward, you have to cut this person out of your life, if at all, if possible, right? I know sometimes they use the kids as leverage. This is one of the things that happens right here. Sometimes if you have kids with them, they use the kids as leverage to stay in your life. They use the kids as leverage to come back and forth. They use the kids as leverage. Well, how do they use the kids as leverage? Sometimes they threaten to abandon the kids if you don't still sleep with them or deal with them. And because you think you think you're keeping that other parent in their kid's life, that's not healthy because you're unhappy. You know what I'm saying? You can't be unhappy giving your kids your all. You can give them 100%, but you're not. You can give them 100% of what you have. But what if you only have 75% because you're unhappy because you're doing this right here to keep this person in your kid's life? This person clearly doesn't care about their kids. If the only thing keeping their kids in their life is you dealing with them, they don't care about their kids. So would you rather have their body and their presence in your children's lives, or not probably nothing at all, but your kids are still have a chance to be healthy minded, right? This is what happens. I'm seeing this happen. I've seen people in these positions for decades. You're single. Your narcissistic ex is married, but you still dealing with them. So they do stuff for the kids. You know, and I know sometimes back in the day, in some day and ages, that was noble. I mean, it was normalized, right? It was noble. It was noble. Like you keeping it, you doing it, you sacrifice for your kids. We get that. It could have been noble, right? I'm not saying it wasn't, but nowadays people understand like, damn, it's kind of wild, right? So this is who you're dealing with. So I tell this to people all the time. Like, I know this become my new catchphrase. And I tell this to people all the time. I say this to a lot of people. A lot of people leave these comments. I know that I keep saying that. I'm gonna change my words up, y'all. I'm gonna be very self-aware of what I say from now. But this is what happens. They think that you are active participant, and also this ownership thing I was talking about earlier. Ownership comes with a lot of shame. Let's be real. Thinking that they own you comes with a lot of shame attached to it, because especially they don't want, even if they've moved on to somebody else, they don't want the thought of you moving on and possibly having somebody better than them. They don't want that thought in their minds, right? That thought would destroy them. That thought would destroy a narcissistic person, right? Because they don't want to have the thought about you clapping cheeks to somebody that's doing it better than them, or you getting with somebody that has more money than them, or somebody that's more attractive, somebody with a better body, somebody that is better fit for them. They don't want you to be with better fit for you. They don't want you to be with anybody that makes them feel like this. They don't want you to, man. And crazy thing about it is, anybody can make them feel like this, especially if they don't know the person. If this person is new to them, they've never seen or met your new partner or the new people you're interested in, they're automatically going to assume that you're downgrading. Because it's going to sound crazy. Narcissists want to be the best you've ever had in every way, shape, or form, right? They want to be the best you've ever had, the best you've ever dealt with. They want that title, right? They absolutely want that title of being the best you've ever dealt with or had, or whatever the case may be. And they'll keep continuing to do this type of stuff because it's deeply ingrained. Like if I see you with somebody else, it sets me off, even if I have someone else, because now my mind is wondering, is that person better than me? Are they taller than me? Are they treating them better? Are they happier? Oh my goodness. So I can appear happy. I can appear happy for you, even if we're getting together for the kids or whatever, right? And we're shaking hands and we're like, I'm meeting your new partner. I still feel a certain type of way, right? I don't want to be this person's friend. I want this person out of your life so they can be out of my life. And it's not always kids, y'all. This could be your business partner. Y'all can work together, right? This could be somebody that you work with. Y'all could be exchanging pets, which is, yeah, I've seen people co-parenting pets before, and those be the worst situations right there. Co-parenting pets is, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but there's a lot of narcissists, a lot of people out here I've talked to that are exchanging the dog or the cat every weekend. It's kind of wild. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of wild. And that keeps people bound. I've seen this happen. Like, I actually saw this happen on a TV show very recently as well. It was Selling Sunset. They had broken up and they still worked together, but they were like exchanging the dog back and forth. And they both were trying to move on. And the partners were like, what are y'all doing? Y'all, huh? We got this dog together, so we promised that y'all still sleeping together. Some of y'all still interested in each other. Y'all just using a dog to staying involved in each other's lives, even though y'all work together, even though the situation is like this, right? Like, that's why I say there's so many people out here who are dealing with abusive, manipulative people that have to just think about this right here from this space. Sometimes you have to force them to let you go. You have to force them to leave you alone. You have to call the cops. You have to call the police. You have to call whoever you need to call in order to get them away from you. You absolutely have to. Or they're just going to they're going to ruin your life. And they don't care about let's be real. They don't care about ruining your life because they think that you're actively dealing with them. They think that because you're an active participant that you are ruining your own life. And they don't care how long this goes on. Yeah, I've seen people in this situation, and this is not me BSing. I know I said it again. I've seen people in this situation that have spent time as a side piece for decades after the relationship ended. And they haven't moved on. The narcissistic ex has moved on. They're in new relationships. They have new families. And you're still single for decades, waiting for them to come back to you. And they don't care. They don't be caring that you wasted your time. They think that you're an active participant. They say, hey, you signed up for this. You know what it was. Like, why would I come back to you? You're dealing with a cheater. I cheated on you and I'm cheating with you. I know you don't trust me. You know, and there's so many unhappy people in those situations. So you have to get to that point where you are choosing. You're actively choosing yourself. You're actively picking yourself, because if you don't pick you, who will? You have to pick you first. You have to give to yourself first. You have to build yourself up first, or that person is just going to treat you horribly. That person is going to do a number on your mental, physical, emotional health. They don't want to let you go because they look at you as a toy. Like, look, I use the Toy Story analogy. In this situation, you ever seen the movie Toy Story? In this situation, Andy, the little boy, is a narcissist, but he's not. We know Andy's not a narcissist, but just imagine Andy's a narcissist, and you are Woody. You're Woody. Woody is Andy's favorite toy, favorite supply, right? Woody belongs to me. Woody belongs to the narcissist. Woody belongs to Andy. And then guess what happens? Buzz Lightyear comes into place. This new supply. Buzz Lightyear is the new supply. Now, Andy doesn't get rid of Woody. He puts him in the toy chest for later. He puts Woody in the toy chest for later on, so he can pick Woody out. Nobody else can play with Woody. He plays with Buzz. He plays with Woody sometimes, but Woody is on the shelf. Woody doesn't get as much playtime as he does. He doesn't give Woody away. He doesn't discard Woody until he gets older. Like, you know, he gave Woody to Sunnyside or whatever the case may be. Or he didn't give Woody to Sunnyside. He gave Woody to that little girl. And that's what Toy Story 4 started at. But this is what happens. So if you're dealing with a narcissist, toxic person, or whoever, you have to understand that a lot of times, they look at you as property. And can they love their property sometimes? I'll leave it up to you. You know, just as much as they love that old car in the front yard, or that necklace, or whatever. My necklace is on. Whatever the case may be. So they claim ownership on you. And just because they claim ownership on you doesn't mean that they care. I have to reiterate that, because I know a lot of people, they are trying to find a reason to go back, or they're trying to find a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, Lee, if they think they own me, that means that they care. People own people back in the 1850s and 60s, right? You think they cared about those people who out there in the field working for them as they were treating them horribly and beating their asses? They claim ownership on it. They want people to have you see what I'm saying? Like a slave. They look at you like a slave. I own you, but I'm not going to treat you. Doesn't mean just because I think because I think you belong to me or I own you doesn't mean I'm going to treat you any better. Because you belong to me doesn't mean I'm going to treat you any better. I'm not going to treat you like a prized possession. You're just a possession. Means to an end. That narcissistic supply. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for riding with me today on this Sunday. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Everything available, coaching, courses, everything is available at mentalhealness.net. I will see y'all later. Peace. What's going on, beautiful folks? Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. I truly appreciate it. You have no idea. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Y'all, you made it this far, you might as well subscribe. It really does help the channel, y'all. Y'all helps me reach more people as well. Also, I have coaching, my courses, and my support group available at www.mentalhealness.net. Thank you so much. Make sure you stick around, watch another video or two. I appreciate it. I'm out.